All right, so today we're talking about how to book more calls from outbound while ensuring that they are all qualified using a pre qualification setup that we found to be the most effective for ourselves and across all of our clients. My name is Atishay Jain, and I'm the founder at Hyperke. We run outbound operations for B2B businesses, and over the last few years, we've booked thousands of appointments, in fact, tens of thousands of appointments, generated millions of dollars in sales. You can find more information on all of that on our website. But for now, let's talk about how to convert more of your positive responses into booked appointments while ensuring that they are all qualified. Right. So in general, you need to be converting between 33 to 75% of all of your positive responses into booked appointments. Now, this is a broad range going from 33%, which is one third, to three fourths, which is 75. And the reason for this range is because the number of responses you convert depends on what it is that people are responding to. For example, if your email is offering a free lead magnet, you're going to see a massively different positive response rate from if you were asking for a call directly, right? But at the same time, the people responding to the lead magnet might not book as many calls as someone who responded positively to a call to action where you were proposing to chat. So your conversion from positive response to booked calls will be closer to the 75% mark, if not higher, if you're asking people to book a call with you in your cold email. And it'll be closer to 33% if you're using a software call to action, like sending them something, offering a lead magnet. And there's no right or wrong here. You need to test it out. You need to figure out what works the best for you. But there are still two areas. Once you've had the positive response, there are still two areas where you need to focus on if you're not converting enough of those positives into booked appointments. Number one is inbox management efficiency, which is your speed to lead, sending people the right information, making sure there's no obvious grammatical errors in your inbox management. And that's for another video. Number two is introducing friction when booking a call. And you would be surprised how many businesses do this unknowingly, right? And this is what I'm going to talk about in today's video. So when a prospect is responding to outbound, to cold outreach, right, you need to understand where they are in their buying cycle. So these prospects have only heard from you maybe once or twice, and they don't really know you. So they've interacted with you and they've engaged with you. They've responded to your email because you said something that sparked curiosity and that they want to learn more about. Let's say, they're in their buying stage, they're still cold, right? They don't know you. They don't trust you as much as an inbound lead who's been consuming your content for several years. So this is why a booking form like this one, which you might use for an inbound lead, will not work for a cold prospect, right? And this is what a typical inbound booking form looks like. So people would ask for the name, email, okay, that's good, basic information. Then you will ask people for their current annual turnover. Then you ask them what's the biggest roadblock to growth. Then what have you tried to grow in the past? What solutions did you experiment with? How much did you invest? How did you hear about us? What is working with us costs at least $8,000 a month? Are you ready to invest? Uh, don't wait, like a very blatant statement telling them that don't waste our time on the call. Promise to show up. So all of these things, one, that's way too many questions, right? Every question introduces more friction into the process, reduces the likelihood of a prospect booking a call. So someone that doesn't even know you that well, if they see a form with these many questions, they're going to bounce right off, right? Number two, many of these questions are questions that you should be asking on the discovery call, right? Think about what it is, what information do you really need? Like, what is the most important piece of information to ensure whether or not you can work with a prospect? And those are the only questions you should be adding in this form, right? So I'm gonna show you examples of how to do it right, but let's talk about what's wrong with these questions. One, current annual turnover. People will not want to tell you, especially when they don't know you. People will not want to tell you exactly how much money they make, right? Because they don't know who you are. They don't know what you can do to help them. Then their biggest roadblock. So this is stuff they will need to type out, and no one's really going to do that to fill out a form. So this is a long form answer question. Similarly, what have you tried to grow in the past? And what solutions have you experimented with? If you're adding this in your booking form, you're just being lazy. These are questions that need to be asked on the phone with a prospect when you're talking to them or on Zoom during your discovery call. So these are discovery call questions, not stuff that you can expect someone to answer on a form, right? So don't be lazy. Do a proper discovery so that you can give people more context. You can dig out their actual pain points instead of just asking for this stuff on a form. Then how did you hear about us? This makes no sense. So you need to create a separate form for your cold outreach. You don't want to include a question like this because obviously they heard you through your outreach, right? So now it makes, if you ask a question like this, makes you look stupid. Like, well, the prospect's thinking you reached out to me. Why are you asking me how I heard about you? Right? So don't include this question. Now, working with me costs a minimum of 8K a month. Look, I understand why people would want to put this question in, and there is a way to do it better, right? Like you can still qualify people for their ability to spend because you obviously don't want to be, in many cases, you would, if you don't have an offer ecosystem with downsells, you don't want to be talking to people who can't afford anything. However, you want to word this question properly, right? So instead of saying working with us costs a minimum of 8K a month, you want to make sure that people are still getting on the first call with you while knowing that if they were to hire you, it costs this much. So I'll show you how to redo this better. And then similarly for no shows, again, instead of making the prospect promise, and these promises can be broken, right? They can say, yes, I promise and still not show up. So instead of these fake promises that add another question to your booking form, have your SDRs call people on the day of the call. Like text them, email them, make sure they confirm their appointment on the phone while talking to an SDR. That will do more for you than just asking people to choose yes or no on this form. Like, if someone's not going to show up, they're not going to show up irrespective of what they chose here. So these forms, like forms like this, absolute no go. Don't do it. It's not going to do you any good. And it's not going to get you more qualified prospects. So talking about what you should do instead, and a lot of this stems from understanding where your prospect is at in the buying cycle. So what you should do instead, you should build an offer ecosystem. In the ideal world, you would have an offer ecosystem where you're able to offer downsells and upsells, depending on where your prospect is at, what exactly it is that they need, how much money they're making, how much they're willing to spend. Right. So the downsells could be anything from a group coaching program to a community subscription, a paid newsletter, a one-time course or training material, or some an audit, whatever it is that you can offer for a smaller one-time cost, like say $500, 1,000, $1,500 one time, or $50 a month subscription to a newsletter, $20 a month, $25 a month, and stuff like this, newsletters and communities. The good thing with doing this is even though it's a lower ticket price, one, people will stick around for a while, right? So over the course of a year, you still end up making a reasonable amount of money, enough to compensate you for the time spent on a call. And number two, these are excellent opportunities to nurture prospects, and you will be surprised how many people end up, being in your community for a while and then buying your actual higher ticket packages. So highly recommend developing these downsells if you haven't already. Right. And if you do have those downsells, your booking form will be super simple. Like name, email, website URL. I would also throw in a phone number in here if you have an SDR who can call people and confirm appointments, because no shows can be high. If so that'll just help you protect you yourself against no shows. So name, email, phone number, website URL. That's all. Super simple, super easy. Your prospect would fill this in with 10, in like 10 seconds. In most cases, name and email would autofill. Right. So this is the ideal solution. Now, I understand that this might not be the best, like if you don't have an offer ecosystem or if you still want to qualify prospects a little bit, here's what I would do. And this is what many of our clients do as well. You ask for their name, ask for their email, ask for their phone number, and add in a LinkedIn URL. And then ask for their annual revenue, but give them ranges so that they don't have to disclose exactly what they're making. Right. So you can offer them the option to choose from these ranges, and these ranges are broad. Like it could be anywhere between 2 and 20 million, and they can just choose this option. What this does is you want to create these ranges, these revenue ranges based on what it is that you're planning to sell to them. Right. So for example, if you know anyone between a 250K to $2 million a year mark can afford a certain type of product, that's a range you put in here. Now, if you know that the next tier of your clients, they are making between 2 and 20 million a year, then you put in that range. So that's how you plan these revenue ranges. Give them a range. Don't make them type stuff out. let them click a button, choose, and book a call with you. Right. So this is your next option: name, email, phone number, website, and revenue range. Right. Now, how do you send? So a question we get many times is, yeah, I have all these mandatory questions in my form. How do I get people to use the booking link? So we all know that proposing times manually has a higher conversion rate than forcing people to use a booking link. But sometimes you want them to use a booking link because you want them to answer these questions. So what you would say in those cases is, hi, first name, give them a couple of options manually. Happy to chat on Wednesday 2 p.m. or Thursday 10:30. If none of those work, please choose a time here. So give them two times and two times only, and then let them choose another one from the link. In many cases, those times might not work for people, and they will end up clicking your link, booking a call themselves. But that also makes you come off as having put in some effort because you proposed two times, right? Now, let's say you wanted to qualify people even harder. You did not have an ecosystem of downsells. You just offer one service for one price point and it's fixed, right? In cases like that, you can use a form such as this one. So you ask for their name, you ask for their email, you ask for their website URL, and you ask a couple of questions to qualify for urgency and for the ability to spend. And this is how I want you to word those questions. So you want to say, if you had access to a solution that could help you address marketing needs or whatever it is that you're solving, right? If you had access to a solution that could help you fix pain point, when would you be ready to implement it? And in your options in here could be immediately, could be in 4 weeks from now, could be in 3 months from now, and I'm not sure, right? So now based on these options, you know the level of urgency that with the prospect that you're speaking to. And the next question I suggest you implement is, this is around price. So this is similar to the question that we saw earlier, where you would just say, yeah, it costs 8K to work with us. Do you want it? Can you afford it or not? So, right. So many people might find a question like that standoffish. They might find it, like, yeah, I don't want to talk to a person who's so full of themselves. This is what people think when they don't know you, right? Think about like the president of the country telling you, yeah, I'm too busy, I don't have time for a call, talk to my assistant, versus someone that reached out to you telling you, yeah, I'm too busy, I can't talk to you. If you don't have money, talk to my assistant, right? So that's the difference. The difference is like these questions do not reflect on who you are as a person. It's just where your prospects are in their buying cycle. So how you want to phrase this is, you want to start your, like you want to start the question by disarming people, telling them that, look, this first call is indeed free. There's no sales pitch at the end of this call. So you want to start by saying, this call is free. There's no sales pitch at the end. Our services start at 2K a month, with most clients investing between 5 and 7 monthly. Would this budget work for you if we provided a solution to help you reach or exceed your goals? Right. So this question solves everything that you wanted to solve. It lets people know that you're not a $200 a month solution. It'll cost at least 2K to work with you. But at the same time, it also tells them that this first call is free, no strings attached. And if we were to ever work together, would you be able to afford the 2K a month fees? And while doing this, you would also want to show some of your own social proof. So if you work with big brands, some of your, a couple sentences talking about results you produce, so that when booking, people know that they're talking to an expert and not just someone who decided to wake up one morning and decided to put a 2K a month price tag to whatever they're offering. Right. So this is, if you wanted to ask more questions, if you wanted to really qualify for need and urgency, for urgency and the ability to spend, this is how I would suggest you do it. So hopefully this video helps. This is how, if you're struggling to convert your positive responses into appointments, if your Calendly forms are asking too many questions, that's the problem you need to fix. Let me know if you have questions, and I'll see you in the next one.